For those of you who have been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I'm a big fan of Mexican inspired food, Tex-Mex food, that kind of thing. And you may also know that the jalapeno cheese sausage is my go-to sausage when it comes to catering, classes, any kind of event when I'm trying to show off sausage making. So I wanted to come up with a new sausage recipe and I wanted to merge those two things together. So I'm gonna make a Oaxaca cheese and Serrano chili sausage that I've never made before. But I'm gonna use the principles from a jalapeno cheese sausage recipe to ensure that it comes out pretty good, and I'm sure it will. And I actually know it will because I've already made it and I've got it here. And definitely stick around because it is very, very good. And if you're in the UK, I've got some tips on being able to get Serrano chilies and Oaxaca cheese. So let's get into making it. Very, very good sausage. So we are going to start this sausage off by taking 2,267 grams or 5 pounds of brisket and pork trim. So there's some lean brisket in here, there's some brisket fat, there's some pork belly, there's a little bit of pork shoulder. Basically all the trimmings I had on hand to make up this sausage. But the key thing being, this is a 70-30 split of lean meat to fat. And I like to use pork and beef in my sausages, so that's what I've gone for. But you can obviously go about it however you want. But 70-30 is the lean to fat ratio that I'm going for today. We'll get this through the grinder. So we're going to get this through the grinder on a 6mm plate. We're going for a slightly coarser sausage. So we've got our sausage fast ground up. We're going to put this back into the fridge to chill out while we get some other things prepared. So when it comes to the Serrano chili pepper element of this sausage, Serranos are not something that you're going to find in a supermarket on a shelf here in the UK and maybe not in Europe. So I like to use the canned pickled Serrano peppers. You can buy these online from Mexgrocer or Mextrade. They're the La Costina brand. So they are pickled, not fresh Serranos, but when it comes to a jalapeno cheese sausage, I prefer a pickled chili over the fresh chilies. And these are super easy for me to get my hands on. So I'm going to go with these. So the commercial brand Lechito are now doing a pickled Serrano chili in a little jar being sold at Tesco, Sainsbury's, places like that. So if you don't want to hop online and buy some of these, maybe check out Tesco for the Lechito brand. They come with little carrots as well, so we'll fish those out. Oh, all over the floor. There we go, a little pickled Serranos. And if anyone does know why it comes with the pickled carrots, let me know, because I have no idea. A little red boy. So we're going in with 10%, which is 226 grams of pickled Serranos. So we'll get those weighed out and chopped up. Perfect, so about 3 cans was about right for this. Just over 226 grams, but we got to cut off the little stalks. And then we're going to go through and just cut them up. Just small enough so that they evenly disperse throughout the sausage and fit through the hopper of my stuffer. Looking for something like that. Not going to show you all of this, but we'll get these all cut up. So just like the Serranos, Oaxaca cheese isn't something you're going to come across in the supermarket here in the UK. Normally I just bring it back from Texas when I head over there, but I managed to find a place in the UK that makes Oaxaca cheese. This is made and produced and sold by the Yorkshire Dama Cheese Company. Queso Oaxaca cheese. It's pretty good, it's pretty salty, so you might want to rinse it off before you put it into your sausage or dial back on the salt content. Today I'm going to give these a rinse because I don't want to throw my sausage saltiness off too much, but if you're in the US and just using the regular Oaxaca that you can buy in stores, then you'll be fine. UK guys buying this, definitely give it a rinse. Looks good. They put these little nabolsi seeds in it. I really don't know why, never seen it before, but that's what they do. And we're going to need 400 grams of this, which is around 18%. You can make it as cheesy as you want, obviously. I think 18% will be fine. Give it a rinse. Feels really weird to rinse cheese off, but I read on their website that they dip this into a salt solution just to set the edge. And unless you're going over to the States or to Mexico, getting hold of Oaxaca cheese is hard enough, so this will do. And it's pretty good stuff. I'm gonna break these down into little cubes. Again, small enough to fit through the hopper of my stuffer. So we've got about 400 grams of our Oaxaca cheese diced up, ready to go. So we are back with our sausage fast. We're gonna add some spices, some cheese, some chilies. And we're gonna try and get it done quite quickly, just so this doesn't warm up too much and smear the fat and ruin our sausage texture. Full recipe will be in the description below, but we're gonna go on with some garlic, some onion powder, some mustard powder, some chili powder with some cumin, some ancho chili flakes because I had them, black pepper, and we're gonna be adding some pink salt because we're going to be smoking these pretty cool for more than 4 hours to get some nice color, some nice smoke flavor. So we're going to use that pink salt to stave off any bacterial growth. Some milk powder. This is optional, but will help us to get a good bind. And 1.5%. So we'll get this loosely mixed round and reasonably dispersed first off. And I personally try and avoid adding additional liquids to my sausage. Just depends on how it's feeling when I'm trying to bind it. If it needs to be loosened up a little bit, I'll add some. Just trying to reduce the amount of variables going into this sausage making. And from there, we'll add our Serrano Serrano chilies. I tasted one of these earlier and they're pretty spicy. And our Oaxaca cheese. Now it's all about getting in here, making sure we get a real good tight bind on this. Make sure everything's evenly dispersed. So I think that's looking pretty good. Good bind on it. It smells really good. So this is going to go back into the fridge again to cool down, just because it's a really hot day and I didn't pre-freeze my grinding tools. So just while I get my stuffer ready, this will go back into the fridge. So now we're going to go in, get it into our stuffer, make sure that there's no air pockets in here. If there's air pockets in here, there's going to be air pockets in our sausage, which we don't want. I love the smell of those pickled serranos. And I've got some sausage casings here. These are natural hog casings, 34, 36 mil. I'll drop a link below where you can pick these up if you're in the UK. And these have been soaking in water overnight, rinsed out from all their salt and softened up nicely. Get this on nice and tight. And we are gonna very simply start cranking these out. I'm gonna try and fill these casings as much as I can, just to the point where I think that they might pop if I fill them anymore. Pinch it off, twist it forward, and twist it the other way. Yeah, real nice colour to these. Gonna keep going with these. Probably get about 10 or so, 10 or 11. So that's all the sausages made up. This particular stretch of casings wasn't very strong, so we had quite a few blowouts, but they're looking good. So these need to hang out in the fridge for at least 12 hours to allow that pink curing salt to work. And you really shouldn't be eating sausage with pink curing salt in any less than 12 hours after you initially make them. But we're gonna let these go overnight just because that's how the timings work for me. So we're gonna get them onto a tray, put them in the fridge, and we'll be ready to smoke them tomorrow. So it is the next day. These sausages have been sat in the fridge overnight. That cure has been doing its job, and I've just separated these links out. So we've got the pellet smoker fired up to around 150 degrees Fahrenheit, as you want to cook these nice, low, smoky, build up that color, build up that smoke flavor, not cook them too fast. So put these on over these hickory pellets. Got a couple of blowouts. Probably cook these for 4 to 5 hours until they read an internal temperature of around 150 Fahrenheit, and they should be good to go. So we'll shut the pellet grill down, cook at 150. So it has been about 2 hours, and these are looking real good, nice and dark, good color on them. I'm going to go in and just flip them all, make sure they get a nice even amount of color. And I did go in a few minutes ago and start turning them around. And I'm going to use my chef's temp for accuracy, take it from a couple of different spots. 132 over here. So I think I'll let these go another hour or so before I check them again. So about 3.5 hours later, something like that, these sausages are rocking an internal temperature of around 145, 150, somewhere in that region. So now all we're going to do is pop them into an ice bath. And this is going to stop the cooking process, and it's going to help prevent our sausages from getting too wrinkly, or the skins getting too wrinkly. And we could put them into the fridge, vacuum seal them, cook them at a later time, and that's the sausages cooked. So we'll fill this up with water and more ice. So these sausages are done, and they look absolutely insane. Look at the color on that. You can really see that Serrano coming through, that Oaxaca coming through, and they smell absolutely unreal. So I'm really, really hopeful that we get some nice melty Oaxaca cheese. It didn't feel quite as rubbery as the stuff that you get in the US. Could I open and see how it goes? Oh yeah, I think that's about right. I'm not even going to try and hide how happy I am about how good that looks. Perfect little bind on there, nothing split. That Oaxaca cheese is starting to get a little bit melty. Slice a couple more coins and see if we can get a little bit more of that Oaxaca cheese. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. And I feel like we have to do the obligatory. Woo. See, it's a little bit firmer than the stuff in the States. It would have melted out in the States, but I feel like maybe I like that a little bit more. So I'm obviously gonna go with the nice melty, cheesy one. Good snap, great snap. It's definitely got some heat. It's got some front end heat as soon as you bite into it, but that Serrano chili kind of hits you at the back end as well. That might be genuinely the best sausage I've ever made. I was really worried about the salt levels in the Oaxaca. It's not overly salty, it's not an overly salty sausage. I like a saltier sausage than normal, but 1.5% salt in this sausage, plus the Oaxaca being mixed around in amongst the meat and all the other ingredients. It just tastes like a perfectly seasoned sausage. It's nice and juicy. That Oaxaca stays together, which is really nice. Doesn't melt out or ooze out. It hasn't split, which is good. See what I mean about the cheese? It's almost got the consistency of a feta rather than a Oaxaca, or a Oaxaca that I know. But yeah, really good bind on this, even after slicing it. It hasn't wrinkled up or anything like that. I'm being completely honest when I say that this may be the best sausage I've ever made. I think if I had to make one criticism, it would be that I could have gone higher on the cheese percentage. I think I went with 18%, could have gone 20, could have gone 25. That may be just because it's not a gooey cheese. It's not that prominent. You can taste it, it's there, but it doesn't provide an additional texture to the sausage. It's still kind of firm. Although it's quite stretchy and melted, it's still kind of rubbery, but flavor-wise, This is spot on. Definitely give this a go. It's very spicy. If you don't like spice, you're not gonna like this, but if you can handle a bit of spice to get some really good flavors, then this is definitely the one for you. I will be making this many more times again, and I'll be eating this many more times again. So thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you like this video, then please consider subscribing. It would really help me out. And if you already do, thank you so much. Like, comment, I really appreciate it. And definitely let me know if you make this recipe. I'll see you in a couple of weeks for another video.